Hi, everybody. This is Marilyn. Do we have any audio for this? I hope we do. Maybe. Great, thanks. Hello, everybody. This is Marilyn, and it's time for the noon edition of Welcome to My World. This is the 9th of May, and it is a Monday. So happy Monday, everybody. I hope you've all had a wonderful morning. Um, this is all kind of interesting. When I look at these indices this morning, it kind of looks like TF and ES are they're being pretty good they're playing very well together. However, um, the both NQ and YM seem to be a little bit stronger, and then they've all started chopping for the last 30 minutes, but that's typical going into the lunch time in the east. The big thing that I see from these markets overnight, boy, I'm telling you, the yen just absolutely fell out of bed, and I think that started last night. It really took a dive. And then we have crude oil, and it's really backing off of these highs that it got up last week on a lot of news. And I don't know if any of you look to see what happens at the week's open on Sunday afternoon, about 6 o'clock Eastern. Crude oil gapped up about 80 cents on the open. It was a significant gap up, and it's on news that the Saudis are, they're stirring the pot with their political business, and they got rid of their oil minister. The thing that's significant about that is that he's the one that's basically the voice piece and the leader of the parade for OPEC. So he's going to make, whoever he is going to make some headlines. But they've replaced him with the CEO of Aramco, and I mean, geez, kind of wonder, and why might that be if they're about to take Aramco, at least 10% of it, to an IPO sometime within the next probably 12 to 24 months. So that was coupled with these wildfires in Alberta, and now they seem to have shifted. At first, they were threatening their biggest sand oil field, and heaven knows if that thing caught on fire, it'd be a bit of a mess up there. But we're going to have a very interesting oil inventory this week because of all this, and there's back and forth about this one's cutting production, and no, they're not, and yes, they are, and the fire that's kind of closed down, not a huge amount of Canadian oil, but it's about 1 million barrels a day. But that oil goes into the storage at Cushing, Oklahoma, and that's where U.S. and most Canadian oil goes, and that storage is what those inventory reports are based on. So that's why we kind of pay attention to stuff like this, because on Wednesday, when they come out with their so-called inventory report, it might be a little bit different than their projections simply because of that. So it's kind of a heads up on that. Gold has also, the commodities have definitely backed off a little bit here. And the dollar and its little friend, the euro, have done nothing but be in a tight range all day. If you trade the the Nadex and you're looking for iron condors on those currencies, you might take a look at your charts of that pair, because boy, is that ever that's the poster child for an iron condor. It's when it's range bound and not going anywhere and will not take a direction, because that's a premium collection based trade. Bonds, while they have trended up, and if you look at the 30-minute chart, and if you look at all kinds of other things, you'll see that it has been in a steady trend up, but I'll show you why that thing has been so difficult, at least for me. And I didn't take any trades on it because I couldn't figure it out. But it has been up and down and up and down, and some of these E's did not pan out. This is another reason why, especially on this particular market, I like these trend catcher entries. You can't take every one of them, but it is they're really a helpful. I find them very helpful. And look at here, it's twice. It's been right here at the big red ice. Those ice levels that Apex has are spot on. Those are very powerful. But what I wanted to point out to you is this business right here, these 3 or 4 slings in a row right here. This is very difficult to sit through. I mean, in hindsight, you can see that this would have been a great trade, no question. But when you've got, this is 1, 2, 3, and then a small 4th one, those are really hard. And Lori has warned me about those three slings in a row like that. Best when you see that, just decide to go somewhere else, and or wait till it gets over that, because there's a lot of indecision going on there. And so let's see, what else do we have? Tomorrow we're going to have there's not a lot in the early morning. I mean, we all kind of train ourselves to watch out for 8:30, which generally is significant, especially on Fridays. Tomorrow it's not a really big deal until Jolt's job openings are out at 10. But this week we're going to have a bond auction, both the 10-year notes on, I think tomorrow. Is that tomorrow? No, it's Wednesday. And Thursday is the 30-year long bond auction. There is also a lot of statements that are being made from the Bank of Japan. So if you trade the UJ pair, you might want to check some of these times that stuff is being released, and check on the Apex website also for Daryl put some really good currency news-based trades in there also. Let's see. See the green. Let's see. We've got some questions in here. Yeah, those slings look like shark's teeth. Yeah, that's about the size of it too. Okay, what I showed people, Jared, if you look, you have to mouse over your HotCom icon and just click on the one that says crude oil, or what, I don't know what it says, because I can't see it on mine. I have it on my monitor. Found it? Okay. Sometimes I try to show things on here, but this is this is what I was referring to. This is a 4-tick C's chart on ZB, and these, you don't see this very often, but this is a nightmare when you see these things. It's just, you know what, let somebody else take that trade. I don't think so. We have some new people in here, and I just want to encourage you to download Jing. It is a freebie. There's a post in the forum on the website, complete with screenshots and exactly how to use it and how to take screenshots of your charts, mark them up, and then post them in here in this room, not in the forum. Don't post your charts in the forum. Nobody will see them. We can all try to help each other in real time if you post them in here. The people who learn this the fastest and are the most successful are the people who become literally obsessed with marking their charts. One of the great things about Jing is that, I don't know if you can see this on mine. If I put it up, no, it goes back to, anyway, there's a history out of one of these sunshine ray things. And what that does is it keeps a library for you of all your screenshots. So when you have marked up a chart and you take a screenshot with Jing of it, you have a permanent record right on your computer. You can always go back and refer to and bring them up. But that posting chart, I know this sounds insane, and I know it's a pain. And the reason I know it's a pain is because I've done it a million times. But you will be astonished at how much more facile you become in recognizing things. Markup charts, whether you took the trade or not, is not the issue. The whole point is you don't know what you don't know until somebody points it out to you. That's a Loriism, and she is absolutely right on with that. The other thing is, this is a matter of training your eyes and your brain for an entry to register. You can sit there and stare at a chart and say, well, I see red things and green things, and I don't know, it's doing this and that. But these are very targeted entries. And my theory is, if you don't have an entry, you don't have a trade. What you have is a panic and a disaster and a freak out. You have to have the entry. The entry is the key. Once you get the entries down, the rest of it will come. But it's those entries. And that's why we have the E's. If you look at on my crude oil, this crude oil today put up gobs of E's. Some of these are a little better, I think, than others. I don't like this up and down, but look where it's going, up and down. This is a major magnet right here at 44. Bus driver is in love with 44 today. And when it finally broke through the ice below here, then it truly was on its way down to the deviation level here at 43.40. So all this stuff starts to make more sense, but you have to get the E's, the entries. Wanda, the training on the E's is under the education thing. It's the Apex Elite training, and it walks you through how to use these P's and E's and A's and X's. But these E's are absolutely, I mean, I love them, but then I learned on those too. So some of you are learning on the I zone, and because it's newer. I mean, keep in mind, back in the old days when I started with Apex, that's what we had. APEX, period. We didn't have anything else. So this has become so much more advanced. And all I can tell you is that this stuff is so accurate. It's incredible. But you have to develop your eye. And don't, if somebody else is using something, for whatever reason, we all see things a little differently and we all relate to things a little bit differently. So find find what works for you. Don't keep banging your head on the wall. Either get some help or take a look at it in a little different way. But you will learn more from the marked up charts that get posted in this room than anything you can possibly do. So I know I keep saying that over and over and over. Um, Somebody asked a really good question. They wanted to move, or they were thinking about moving from trading spreads to trading futures, and asking questions about the proximity and the bid-ask spread and things like that. If you have been trading spreads and you are thinking about moving to futures, futures are the proximity. When you're talking about a spread, you know, what's the proximity on that? How many ticks or whatever it is? What's the proximity? The futures is the proximity. That is the indicatives that you are used to on those spreads are based on the futures. So the futures is the oracle for all that stuff. The difference is that you have to be very, very targeted on your entries, and you're either using a certain amount of ticks, or in trading crude oil, I think I have my ATM for crude oil set to 30. And then once I see how it's behaving and I've moved my stop down to break even, or a couple of ticks under to pay the bills if it goes against me, then I may move it. I may move it farther, depends on where it is. But things it's a whole different animal. And if you are looking for the precise information about futures contracts, it is on the CME website, cmegroup.com. That's the exchange where our trades eventually are settled through. So, and any market you are thinking about. Somebody was asking also about using ES as an indicator to trade something or other. So I just wanted to briefly remind you, trading ES futures, lots of people do it. It's the most heavily traded market in the world. And the volume is tremendous. So if you are doing that and you have your volume like I do on crude oil with the block trade and the filters, my filter set to 10 and the block at 20, you're going to find that's completely impossible in ES. You probably want your filter set to 10 or 15 or 20 or even 25, and your block may be set to 60 or 80, because there is a huge amount of volume. Seeing order sizes of 80, 90, 125, 154, 230 contracts go through there. This isn't, it happens. So if you're trading your little one contract or two contracts or whatever it is you're trading, guess who's going to get run over first? Guess who cannot get out of a trade when they want to? It's the little one contract, two contract. I do not like that market for that very reason. Liquidity is a good thing, but that much is, there's other places that I would much prefer. Also, if you are moving from trading spreads to futures, keep in mind that those spreads, every tick on those spreads is $1. That is not the case in futures. NOT, repeat, not the case. You have to know what your market ticks in. For example, one tick on crude oil is $10. One tick on YM is $5. If you're trading beans or ES, one tick is $12.50. So you have to know exactly what kind of risk you're taking on, and how many ticks of profit for how much risk in ticks you're going to take. But you definitely have to be aware of whatever market. If you're going to trade ZB, one tick is $31.25. So they're all different, and I know that makes no sense, but I agree with you. It makes no sense, but that's the way it is. Gold trades $10 a tick. There are minis that you can trade that are less, that will trade $1, but the problem with those is the volume, and so there's nothing like educating yourself before you. It's a little bit like learning how to swim before you get in the pool. I mean, at least know where the deep end is, and futures can really be the deep end. So pay attention to that. And I think that's about all. Did I answer all the questions? I know there were quite a few really good ones this morning, because we do have some. Yeah, Adrian, this brings up a really good point. This room is for traders helping traders. So don't be afraid to ask questions in here. If you're new and you just started, you know what? Every single person in this room was in your shoes at one time or another. So you're not being a pain. And if you don't get your question answered, for heaven's sakes, ask it again, because somebody, we're all trading. We don't have somebody just sitting here watching this chat. We just didn't see your question, so ask it again, because if there's a lot of stuff coming through that people don't have time to sit here and scroll back to this morning and looking for whatever. So no, you're not being a pain. Believe me, you're not being a pain. What's a pain is for somebody to sit here and try to do this on their own and don't ask any questions, and then throw up their hands and say, well, I don't think this works. Believe you me, this stuff works. It's a matter of you, and that goes for each of us, learning how to get it put into what we can see and what we can deal with. So ask away and post away and mark those charts. I have spent hours and hours and hours and hours marking charts, and I still mark them. It's very helpful. Best training tool in the world. So I will get off my soapbox. I just went on and on and on, especially for Monday. But the rest of this week's going to get a whole lot busier. So I will stop for now and come back tomorrow, and we'll pick this up again. This has been my view from my world in Apex Land, brought to you by Apex Investing. Thanks.